All right, we're going to try to take a whirlwind tour of Abbey Road 2 by Spitfire Audio. I'm starting with the double bass on the first mix mic position. This is the pro version, but both of them have staccato. So nice dynamic range. You can hear a little string slap when they stop it sometimes. Sounds too keyboardish. Now let's just check a different mix here. I wish the levels would go up, but they don't. Oh, and you have to wait. So now we're loading. Watch the memory up there in the upper left. There we go. Probably get some notes now. We'll do vintage 1. Gotta wait for it to load. And they cancel each other out, so if you try to load, you can't actually load all the mics at once. You'll notice the switches switch off. That may be for phase issues, but it's also probably to conserve memory, maybe? Not sure. And vintage 2. Oops. Wait for that one to load. My drive should be reading at about 940 megabytes per second. This has a lot of stereo. This is the double track, automatic double track ADT. I think. You can read about that or watch about that in their demos and read about it. It's an Abbey Road thing. Now, I'm holding the notes down. They don't really sustain. So if you think that I'm playing short, I'm holding them down. This is as long as they last. I don't know if that matters to anyone. Oh, there's a nice slide on that one. Let's see how many round robins there are. 6. Oops. I swear I heard a little slide on one of them. I can't get it back. Well, this gives us an opportunity to look at how we trigger things. So you can key switch CC range, velocity range, channel can actually trigger different articulation changes. Then you've got the key switch. This is weird to me. Every time I click it the first time, it goes straight to the top. It feels like almost a bug. It goes into a weird place. And then the second time I click it, I get the pop-up list. So when you're setting up your articulation switching in your with your DAW, then sorry, I've got a little bit of a sniffle. You've got to select it, activate normal latch. All of these are about articulation switching. your number of round robins, whether or not they're going to reset on transport, reset from key. You can have a key reset your round robins, which is nice. Then you've got neighbor zone and layer and no skip, all of the usual round robin options here. You can transpose. Now, bowing pattern is only going to show up a couple of times. Let me see, where is my Abbey Road bowing pattern? Let's see if I can find. That's O, not bow. Bowing pattern available for all shorts. Spicatissimo. Provides the ability to alternate direction. Okay, so let's switch to a short. Now that staccato is selected, I can get up one, up two, down two, up two, all of these different options. So let me go down one, up one. Okay, velocity seems to be triggering the duration. So we're listening for, does that sound like down bow, up bow, right? I can hear that. Now I'm trying to slam the key here. Let me use a different keyboard that's easier to get the higher velocities. Got to get it in the right octave. Oh, it might not be plugged in right now. Shoot. Well, that's easily remedied. I'm going to try to get this video out before the sale ends in a few hours, so I'm going to see if I can do it without spending an hour editing it. Now, I'm not trying to make it sound bad. That's just this the aggressive double bass staccato sound. We're just listening for down up. That's nice. Now, what if we did down two, up two? Medium velocity. I'm sorry, that's probably high. It's kind of nice that you can get a little variation in there. But it's a little hard to control. So that's something that you'd probably want to edit in your DAW unless you're unless your keyboard is dialed into the same kind of transitions that they have in their. I wonder if you can set the transitions, the crossovers between when it decides that it's going to be a longer or a shorter staccato. I'm not sure where that's going to be, but there's probably a place where they tell you whether or not it's the velocity level that you need to hit the key at to trigger one of those longer ones versus the shorter ones. Okay, we're getting into the weeds really quick, and I apologize for that. But I wanted to do one that wasn't just a playthrough of all the sounds, but also talks about how the instrument is designed and how to get the most out of it. Because a lot of the demos that I heard and a lot of the demos that you'll hear don't show all the different ways of approaching how the instrument can be used. And I'm starting with the bass because, again, most people weren't even demonstrating it or showing it. Now I'm going to choose a bowing pattern, down, up, which may be what it defaults to. It when there's none up there, I don't know what it's using. Oh, that's aggressive. glad I plugged this keyboard in because it doesn't make a big loud clacking noise as I'm hammering on the keys, but you can hear how. I'm hearing 3 layers there. And I didn't really finish the microphone tour, but we are still in that ADT double track, which is why it probably sounds different from what you've heard. I mean, most people are probably demoing on Mix 1. Wait for it to load. Again, this is going probably 940 megabytes per second. I'm playing 2 different keyboards. It kind of feels weird to alternate hands across 2 different keyboards. Kind of sounds cool. So you can get some really, really aggressive shorts there. LCR1, sorry for the sniffles. Oh, waiting for it to load. Now this is a mic in the Pro that people probably aren't showing, and you know, a lot of people were talking about the violin sound not being super appealing. Let's quick go to a violin short and hear that LCR1. See, it takes a while for it to automatically turn that Mix 1 off, but it did that by itself. I didn't turn that Mix 1 off. Oh, I'm in the wrong octave. It still sounds pretty bright. But that's definitely a different sound than the Mix 1. Not just because of its stereo placement. I guess Spicatissimo was kind of affecting the way that was going to sound, wasn't it? And then let's hear that in LCR1. There's a little bit of delay, so my timing is going to sound like crap because 256, it doesn't feel like 256. Let's see what happens when it's even shorter. It feels better. Yeah, see, people were saying that the violin was too bright, but I think that some of these other mic positions that are a little further away are definitely going to help soften that up. Which is a real argument for the Pro. I mean, it's still a pretty you know, the instrument is still what do I say? Got its qualities, right? Now I'm going to skip the closes for a second because we're kind of still trying to think. I'm sort of randomly jumping from the bass to the violin tone, since that's another thing people really wanted to. I just saw a lot of people online kind of saying, I don't like the violins, I don't like the violins. And I think that was just the brittleness that they were hearing from the Mix 1. So I'm just trying to show a couple different mic positions. I guess in this case I can turn this one. When you turn it all the way down, it turns off the mic. So this is stereo ribbon. Which I think is actually a very nice sound. So let me switch now to that group. Where's that big group? There's an ensemble. I'll start with long, and what we want to do here, I want to show you another cool thing. Oh, I can't do it. Yeah, I can. So the pencil here, you can choose which articulations you want to load. So every time I'm doing these mic changes, you know, it's loading all of the mic positions. So if I take a couple of these mic positions out, you know, maybe I don't need to look at tremolos for a minute or sulpants for a minute or even soltastos. I can just do longs and flotandos. Now it'll take a little shorter as we move through these mic positions. So of course, I think people were kind of like, wow, that's a really bright violin. I don't know if I'm going to like this whole thing. And then if you switch over to the stereo ribbon, which I think is going to automatically turn off that Mix 1, then you'll hear, once it loads, a really much more what we're used to sound, and it's not got the aggression and the brightness that is a plus of the product as advertised, but is a minus for people who are looking for just a string quartet that's really well done. Now these are longs, so, and we're not going to get any legato transitions out of them. And I'm not using any mod wheel. Another thing I was hearing people say was that the vibratos were two together, almost robotically together. So let me kind of roll these chords just a little bit. I mean, the ribbon is a really soft sound relative to what I think a lot of the demos have been showing. So I really wanted to make sure that people knew that that exists. Where is the... I feel like there was a whole ensemble one where we got a legato. Didn't we get a legato in one of the... Ensemble things where it did the audio arranger, but it was doing it legato style. Kind of a poly legato arranger thing. I guess not. So when you do this arranger, you're always going to be playing longs and shorts, obviously, but longs are the main thing. And if we go even further back, like if we go to this stereo mid mic, then we're really back further in the room. Are we still loading? Oh. Why don't I hear anything? Well, goodness gracious. I'm not sure why it's not loading or why that light is blinking. It looks like it's still loading. There we go. Okay. So again, you hear that it's really quite mellow sounding. You know, bright instruments, but the microphone placement really makes a difference. For the ambient mic here, just waiting for that to load. Right, so these ambient and stereo ribbon and stereo mid mics are pretty critical to achieving, you know, a nice balanced room tone if you're going for that. Like if you're not using Abbey Road to pop out of a pop mix or even a rock mix, kind of a hybrid epic mix, if you don't need that initial aggression that is sort of a plus of the library, the pro version with these other mics are just out of the box going to sound a lot more like a typical, you know, string quartet recording without external reverb. So here's the close ribbon at full with the stereo ribbon, and I'm going to see if I can play a little more expressively. I really apologize for my sniffles. They just started while I was recording here. Let's do something like tremolos. So that's what it sounds like with the far and the close ribbon, which I think I would probably dial down just a touch, the close. Can't even hear it. Is it still loading? I think it's still loading. All right, it's settled at 6.3 gigs. So it seems to be load and then unload something. I'm not quite sure what's up with that. So that's the close ribbon. I don't know if we can get kind of a legato tremolo from the individual patches. This is the auto arranger. If you're not familiar with the arranger, you know, it's got a way of doing all 5 instruments across kind of key ranges and crossfade you know. It's a multi-voice ensemble tool, which is a little new for the Spitfire player. It might be the first time it's been used, I'm not sure. And so this is a nice auto arranger type of part of the product as well that's worth remembering. Okay, tremolo. That's mostly close ribbon, and then here's ticking down that close ribbon, full stereo ribbon. Really nice, right? You could hear the cello come in. That's the lowest octave. So here's the bass. And that's both of them. Now the viola should enter here, I think. And yeah, I think the ribbon mics have a real sweet kind of velvety touch. There's a silkiness to them. So just know that if you're getting the professional, that's going to be one of the things that you'll be able to access. So straight out of the box, you don't have to worry about EQing. There's not a harsh tone. There's not, you know. Let's listen to Sulpant. Let's see how far we can push this idea that if the Sulpant still doesn't sound harsh, then the ribbon mics really are the answer to someone. Trying to be as key clashy as I possibly can here. There's a little stereo jumping around, and I heard a couple people mention that. So you can hear the stereo image does change a little bit. A little more noticeable on headphones. I did a video on the flautando, but here's the soltasto. balance seems off there. Or did I? Yeah. The balance seems off there. There we go. Whoa. Okay, there's just one loud. The next dynamic layer kind of just comes in a little suddenly there. The balance doesn't quite feel right to me, so I'll stop with that. Again, these are still all the ribbon mics. And my point here was that if you get the professional version, the ribbon mics make it sound a lot more like what people are expecting a string quartet to start sounding like. I think another thing people are looking for is legato, so let's do some viola legato. And I am going to use that ribbon mic. So viola legato. There are 3 types of legato: performance legato, slurred, and portamento. You don't get the bowing patterns with legatos. You do get the layering options, plus minus. 4 round robins for performance, but not for slurred or legato or portamento. So there's no round robins with portamento. My biggest kind of concern with portamento is if I want to use it, I don't get to adjust the note attack. I get the note attack I get. If I wanted a different attack on any of those, I would need to layer a short on top of it, or a marcato, like, in one of the other articulations. I can't move into a port transition after beginning another. Like, I can't move from performance legato as a start and then transition into portamento like, well, I could do it with performance legato, I suppose, because it can do portamento. But, and that's the way you would have to do it. But if you want, for some reason, to be in portamento after a different note start, you can't start portamento any differently. Similarly, you get what you get with slurred in terms of note starts, which is why performance legato layers the shorts, I believe. Or at least has some sort of way with velocity to have the sustain be controlled by your CC mod 1 and the attack of the note be controlled by your velocity. Nice strong start, but still at kind of middle in velocity. By the way, I should mention their compressor works really well. It's set at a 2-to-1 ratio, and it basically allows you to compress the dynamics quite, I would say, transparently, so that when I'm really quiet here, it's just about as loud as when I'm loud. Okay, never mind, I lied. It's definitely not nearly as loud. I guess on one of the softer articulations, I was getting more of an even. But performance legato has a wider range, so compression doesn't bring it down. All right, I said I would do legato, and let's do some legato. I'll turn the mic on mute. Hearing a little bit of a pop there that I bet you hear that I'm not sure what that's about. Probably, probably worth reporting that. It is doing this on its own speed, and the speeds vary between 100 and 150 milliseconds. So at 50%, this should be set to 125 milliseconds, and I'll show you that here. The speed control changes all interval types, so you can go from 100 milliseconds responsive to 150 milliseconds, more latency, but sounds more natural. So when I do runs like this, and I can hear my notes have transitioned faster, and I'm waiting in my headphones to hear those notes actually sound. It's because they are timed to transition only as fast as they do. But let's speed it up to 150 milliseconds and see what happens. And at the slowest, it makes me feel like I have to play slower. Sorry. Yeah, it just, you need to kind of adjust your performance style to take advantage of the control there. That octave there, it looks like, it just sounds like there's a little bit of a pop there that I don't want to have happen. And now all of that was in one mod wheel thing, so I could just concentrate on the transition. So now I'll go back to using the mod wheel a little bit and maybe even some expression here. And let's choose a different instrument. Actually, I do like the cello quite a bit, and it has a live patch. I have not been using the live patch too much. It feels like a sketching patch, meaning it's very responsive, but I haven't loved what the sound of what it does when you're just playing back and trying to get the best performance. See how long it takes this to load. Again, these ribbon mics really change the quality of the sound, the timbre of the whole ensemble, right? Sometimes some of those transitions I haven't quite, there's kind of a no middle ground. There we go. So there's that. I don't have the slowest one that I heard. There you go. So mod wheel does in this performance legato, it can make a difference where velocity isn't choosing the transition, it seems. So it's what I'm saying is that some of the transitions that you play are going to, you can change some of the attacks, but the transitions, the legato transitions in performance legato aren't only going to be controlled by velocity. They're also going to be influenced by the mod wheel CC1. At least that's what I'm feeling under my fingers here. Because the CC1 is up right now, I'm able to trigger those transitions. If the mod wheel's down, those transitions are going to sound. And I felt like I was playing with about the same velocity. So velocity wasn't what was triggering the transitions. Velocity is only triggering the start notes. I can trigger portamento with velocity if it's under 20, I think. CC dynamic peak points for legato, 100%, 70%, 30%. 1 through 19 is gonna, and then slurred transitions are going to be 20 through 127. So this is what I'm saying, is that any velocity that's not a portamento is going to be determined by your CC1 position. Hopefully that's obvious now. I've restated it like 3 or 4 times. Now hopefully I can move on. Now that's a transition that I've noticed before that just doesn't sound great in context. It just it might be able to make it work, but that one is okay. But there's another one. That one, those kind of E flat to D wasn't. It jumps out every once in a while. But that's a good. Excuse me. I wonder if that's something that you can, say, why does it do that? The first time I click these pop-ups, they just disappear and select something. Now it's sticking up. But usually when I click it, I expect it to stay up so that I can select something. But every time I change articulation, the first time I click these, it selects something and disappears. All right. What else can I share? Whirlwind Tour. Okay, we've got vibrato. And vibrato is on, off, I think? No, vibrato. Never mind. Only available for long techniques, crossfade across 3 layers. Here's the compression settings, by the way. Okay. 3 layers of vibrato. Does that mean off is one of the layers? Is this a long technique? Wait, vibrato is usually 21, right? Okay, it's not a long enough technique. Let's switch to a long. So you can trash all your articulations and then choose a long and then go here, and vibrato will be one of the things you can choose. And I've got a mod wheel set up to, or a mod fader modulation control set up to 21, which is Spitfire's default vibrato. don't do that. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good either. You'll probably want to choose. There's a video that Paul did a couple years ago where he was showing how to conceal your vibrato transitions in a phrase. Like, let's see if I can do this. It takes a little coordination if you're trying to perform it, to be honest. So if I wanted to go, and then I want to move up notes and land on a vibrato, I conceal the vibrato move during the transitions so that it arrives with vibrato on. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he was demonstrating because he did it quickly and he did it once, but that's been my takeaway, is that you conceal your vibrato on, off, or vibrato less and more transitions within a phrase. Let's see, let me try that again. Kind of like that. Let's see. So I moved from middle vibrato to high vibrato while I was transitioning notes, so that because that's, and the reason he said that to do that is because it's already baked in that they kind of don't start vibrato right away. It just go da wah 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 wah. It goes da wah 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 wah. That's what the players are instructed to do. So after the note establishes, the vibrato usually starts, so that you can transition during the legato, excuse me, so the vibrato picks up naturally out of it. All right, we've been in these ribbon mics this whole time, and that was really to show how good the violins sounded. So let's go check out the violins, because the violins can sound quite good in the ribbon mics. Let's load them up. And this should be fine. So violin 1, legato. We'll keep speed in the middle. No, I'll turn speed to the slowest. I think this should be the slowest speed. And I'll play something kind of longish. As you can hear, it's really far over to the left. Let's see what this does here. Let me just go to slurred here. I'm staying low in the mod wheel. Let me move the mod wheel up here and take the expression down. Um, Not really a part of this package, but if you want to know, there's ways of kind of addressing that noise. People will call it noise, the rosin on the bow, shushy whooshy sound. And products like NS1 and others can quickly reduce any of that noise that you're hearing, if that's what you're interested in. Some people like that, noise sound. It feels natural and organic to them. Some people aren't as interested in it, right? At some point, you'll just take away the signal. So it can get a little intrusive if you turn it up, meaning turning the noise down too much. But that's just a mixing suggestion if you're interested. Now that was a combination of ambient and stereo mid, and I was just kind of throwing mics up. You may not love that mic position, and I was moving things around. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I hope that was. I think that a lot of people responded to Mix One or Vintage One mic sounds, and you can go to other places to see those demos, and thought, wow, those violins are so harsh and bright. Actually, they don't have to be. You can hear them with these other professional mic mixes and hear a very different kind of sound. Actually, LCR2 seemed a little further away, I think. Now this is violin 2. And I was thinking maybe just do slurred again, because it's easier to listen to one thing at a time. I'm going to pull up vibrato. Oh, I can't control the vibrato here. Speed is right about there. So this mic is LCR2. We haven't really listened to this much yet, but it's also because of its position, the violins don't sound as kind of bright and harsh. They still sound clear and present. Takes a little practice to mix the mod wheel and the expression just right. every once in a while I dip in a way that is not making any sound. Let's see. Let's try some shorts. I do have another video or two where I wrote a little string quartet demo piece, but I haven't used it on these other mic positions yet. I think that's still LCR2. I'm really curious now to hear those with the other mic. Now I really want to hear these with the stereo ribbon and close ribbon. Sorry. Destroy the vibe. I'll go back to playing nice little melodies. You know, I really like the ribbon mics. It feels vintage in a totally different way. It feels like it could be a period piece. It could be if you do a more elaborate kind of romantic, classical, I don't know, Baroque type of thing. You could do some different styles here for sure. You could put this over a trap beat and make some awesome strings patterns too. But I just really wanted to dispel the idea that the only mic positions available were um, that the only mic positions that the instrument was always going to sound like were vintage one and mix one, because they just don't always sound like that. These instruments were recorded with lots of different mics for lots of different reasons. If you don't like this sound, you don't like this sound, or if you don't want this sound for every piece. This is going to be what it's going to sound like for, you know, a certain aesthetic. And here's mix one. And it's going to be that harsh, brittle. I mean, I'm playing a little loud, but some people are going to say those same notes that sounded fine in the other mic just sound a little too bright, brittle, harsh, aggressive, or whatever. And you know what? They can sound however you want. With the different mic positions, of course. So let's see, what else is there to round out this whirlwind tour? We did a little bit of cello, we did a little double bass, we did a little bit of ensemble. We talked a little bit about legato, we did some shorts. I didn't really do every articulation for every instrument, but we talked about a lot of the features. We didn't really talk about release, the internal reverb, or let's just talk about real quick the internal reverb. You do hit all these other IRs that they sampled, different plate reverbs that they sampled from Abbey Road, a chamber. You've got a large hall. And so you can add a bunch of other plate reverbs. We didn't go through every mic, but I hope that there's other videos that do that. We talked a little bit about the speed, 100 milliseconds to 150. It's only on the certain articulations. I think the legato articulations. We talked about the vibrato. We haven't talked about tightness at all. This is not new. This was in Abbey Road 1 as well. Let's find the tightness knob. And, you know, this is the concept that the start of the sound of the instrument isn't really the start of the, you know, a short note. So you can cut into the sample recording and make it a little tighter, but it can detract from some of the realism, especially for some people. Some people really want that bite to it just starts, and we actually like the sound of I just started a recording, but some people want to hear that I'm pulling the beginning of the bow across the string, and as I get it pulled, there's a little bit of sound just before the note really starts to resonate and the string starts to vibrate. So you can turn it up. I made a mistake on my Abbey Road 1 Star Wars mock-up by modulating this tightness during the piece, and I thought that it was getting out of time, and I didn't remember or realize at the time that I posted the video that if you modulate this or vary the tightness in the middle of a piece, it's going to move the offsets of the starts of the notes and make them shorter or later. So you have to use this carefully. And with you know 2020 hindsight, I wish I had done that differently. Let's see what else. So you've got the arranger view. When you can make arrangements. We talked about different key switches, bowing patterns, the cool articulation picker that they've got. You can, you know, add longs or shorts or both. You can pan and tune and vibrato up here. And you've got some settings in the plugin. You have to wait for the thing to load. Some of the loading times are just a little longer than you might expect them to be. But other than that, oh, and you can use like a denoiser if you want on the track if there's too much kind of white noise. You can collapse and expand load and unload. I mean, uh, the different presets that you've got, and you can choose your mic positions like this too. I actually didn't know that. There you go. Abbey Road 2. Couple more hours left in the sale. This is hopefully going to help some more people either decide, yep, I still don't need it, or, you know what, I think I'll pull the trigger. Take care, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great 2022.